scenario where it's 10:15 or 10:30 a.m. on regular working days, and users are logged in, transactions are running, dashboards are live, clients are active, and suddenly your primary data center goes down. No, not slow, not degraded, down, fully down. Now pause for a moment. What's happened next in your organization? Not what should happen, what actually happens. And that is what we are going to explore today. So today's topic is the day your primary data center goes down. What happened next? Did you think that ever? So in first 10 minutes, confusion defines the organization. Users report application failure, IT check, monitoring dashboard, network team validate connectivity, leadership ask for a status update. If your morning is mature, alert trigger monitoring is mature, your alert trigger immediately. If not, user become the monitoring system. And that's alone tell you something about your resilience. The question is not whether downtime happens. The question is how prepared your organization is for it. Then in first hour. Now let's assume the outage is real. Hardware failure, power disruption, cyber incident, human error, whatever the possibility is. The first hour determined business impact. Does your team know whether the failover environment is, how to activate it, whether backup are useful, what the RTO actually is, or does recovery depends on one senior engineer, outdated documentation, the best case assumptions. Many organizations discovered during real incidents that their recovery plan was theoretical or just a piece of paper. It existed on paper, not in a practice. So, what is the hidden truth about DR? The disaster recovery plans are often created once, reviewed occasionally, and tested rarely. So, I saw lots of customers where they took the backup, but I never see the recovery document, restore test, and checklist. I never see. But infrastructure evolves constantly. Application changes, access policy changes, integration multiply. If DR design doesn't evolve with architecture, the recovery plan become misaligned. And misalignment is invisible until failure. Let's take an example. Let's consider a practical example where a mid-sized enterprise hosts its ERP, an internal system in a primary data center, and they maintain nightly backup. They replicate data to the secondary site. On paper, RTO is 4 hours. One afternoon, the storage array corruption takes down the primary environment. The team initiates recovery, but they discover the replication lag was higher than expected. Authentication services were not replicated properly. DNS failover was not fully automated. Some applications were dependent on prem license server, and the 4-hour RTO turned into 14 hours. I saw one of the customer where everything was working fine somehow, but they didn't plan for their public DNS failover. They don't have GSFB configured, global load balancing configured. They have to go and manually change the public IP behind the FQDN. And these days it takes half an hour and 1 hour to replicate, but in past it was more than 4 hours and done. Everything was ready, but they were not able to reach. So business impact lost transactions, missed client commitments, internal chaos, reputational damage. This issue was not lack of backup, it was incomplete recovery design. Backup is data, recovery is continuity, and they are not the same. So some organizations believe moving to the cloud eliminates this risk. It doesn't. Cloud reduce infrastructure ownerships. It doesn't remove architectural responsibility. If identity service fail, access fail. If IAM policy are misconfigured, recovery delay is delayed. The multi-zone replication is not tested, assumption collapse. And cloud provides tool. It doesn't guarantee resilience. So what exactly defines readiness? When data center goes down, four things matters: clarity, speed, ownership, and testing history. Clarity, everyone knows their roles? Speed, how fast can system return in operational state? Ownership, who makes recovery decision? And testing history, has this scenario been rehearsed? If recovery has never been rehearsed under pressure, confidence is theoretical. Resilience requires practice, and just like fire drill. So, what from the CEO perspective, the real question is not technical; it's operational. It's our core system fail today. If our core system fail today, how long before revenue flows resume? Not practical functionality, full operational continuity. If that answer is uncertain, the business carries hidden exposure. Downtime is not just about system, its impact, employee productivity, customer trust, regulatory exposure, and brand credibility. If regulated industry downtime can trigger compliance reporting. In service businesses, downtime can violate SLAs. In manufacturing, downtime can halt production line, and the financial cost of downtime compounds quickly. So, what a strong organization or do differently? They don't wait for failure to test readiness. They simulate. They test full failover scenario. They validate RTO under load. They test identify continuity. They audit replication consistency. They assume failure will happen and design accordingly because resilience is not optimism, it's preparation. So, what do you think? Are you following these things or you are just relying on a document which was created 1 or 2 years back? No one is updating those documents in your system, or you don't have time due to day activity to test the scenario. You are not getting the time from your business to test right recovery scenario. If that is the case, then think loudly again and again that backup which you are taking day to day basis may or may not work. And if it work, then the time to recover will definitely go beyond your expectation without any doubt. Let me now move to into some uncomfortable but important questions leaders should ask themselves. We have backup. Is that enough? Backup protect data. They do not guarantee operational continuity. Second question: how often should DR be tested? At least quarterly, ideally more under realistic workload. But If you can do quarterly, at least that is acceptable, but it's not possible to go for month on month, but quarterly should be. What is the biggest gap you see in recovery planning? Identity and authentication service are often overlooked. DNS failover always create problems. Is secondary data center mandatory? Not always, but secondary recovery capability, whether cloud or hybrid, is critical. And on top of that, how much time is you need to recover the system? If your business is ready to adopt those downtime, then it doesn't matter if you are creating DR or you are creating a foolproof backup solution which will restore the data on particular RTU or RPU. Who should own disaster recovery? It's not just IT, it's business continuity leadership. So, if IT is asking to provide downtime to test the continuity or disaster recovery, and your business is not providing the time, then how you can test? So, it's joint effort. Business need to understand we if my system goes down in a particular day, how quickly we can restore. If IT or someone is saying our recovery time is 4 hours, then is it the actual 4 hour or it will be 20 hour? So that's how you can decide who own the disaster recovery. Is downtime inevitable? Yes, unprepared downtime is optional. So let me close with this. Infrastructure does not fail even when convenient. It fails unexpectedly. The difference between chaos and continuity is preparation. The day your primary data center goes down is not the day to rediscover your weakness. It is the day your preparation is revealed. If this discussion made you reflect on your own recovery readiness, share it with someone responsible for infrastructure or business continuity and ask them to check their disaster recovery and business continuity document when they sit last time on that document, when they tested that. Comment with your experience, especially if you live together a real outage, especially if you are lived through a real outage. And follow for deeper conversation and resilience for virtual desktop, source secure access, arch- enterprise risk management, disaster recovery, and many more. Design system that survive bad days, not only on the document, but it should be practiced day to day basis. Thank you. I will come back tomorrow again at the same time with some new topic. Thanks again.